Hello and welcome back to another LEGO Marvel review. This time I'm here with set 76173, Spider-Man and Ghost Rider vs. Carnage. It was released on the 1st of January 2021, contains 212 pieces, is rated ages 7+, and comes with 3 minifigs. As you will see here, you've got Spider-Man, Ghost Rider and Carnage, all of which are new prints. This set retails at 1966 in euros, 17.99 in pounds and 19.99 in dollars. The Hell Charger was a modified 1968 Dodge Charger that belonged to Robbie Rees, or as we most commonly know him, Ghost Rider. Originally, the car was used for underground drag races, but on the way to one of those races, Robbie was ambushed by people looking for the car's original owner, Eli Morrow. The car and Robbie suffered a fatal accident, but Robbie rised as the Ghost Rider, taking the car and modifying it and becoming known as the demonic being riding a flaming car. The trio seen here haven't commonly crossed paths in the comics, so the matchup of figures here is unique to this LEGO set. With a nice inclusion of all new minifigures, this set is a decent choice on paper. But let's get into the review and see if that opinion holds true. But before we do that, we just gotta look at the back of the box here. And on the back, it shows you two things. It shows you that the stud shooters on the front can fire, and that the flames on the sides and wheels and back are all, removable. You can take them off if you want a normal charger, or you can put them on if you want Ghost Rider's Hell Charger. Otherwise, we see that Spider-Man here has web shooters, kind of in the same style as Iron Man's old kind of hand shooter things. I'm not really sure what to call them, but you put them in the figure's hands and you flick on the side and they go, so that's kind of a nice little addition. I think that's a new piece, but we'll get into that in the unboxing video, which should be up before the review ever comes up anyway. But yeah, that's all I can really say about the box. Let's get on to the review. So here we have the overview of this set. We got our 3 minifigs here. Of course, we got Spider-Man, Ghost Rider and Carnage. And of course, Spider-Man has his 2 webs from his web shooter there. You get the attachments all over here and here for the left and right side of the muscle car to turn it from an ordinary muscle car into the Ghost Rider's Hell Charger. So first up we have Spider-Man, and I think it's new because there's a new arm printing on him, which is really nice actually. But starting off first with the head, we have of course the very typical kind of black outline around the eyes and webbed face. On the back of the head then we have the pretty much the same thing there, very small detail there, just to kind of make it look more like the Spider-Man mask. On the torso then you will see his suit. You'll see the webs going around, the nice blue and red contrast there. And you'll also see a couple of his muscles, because of course the suit is very tight, so you kind of see everything. And on the arms then you'll see some nice blue and red contrast, and you can of course some blue printing there on the arms to make it look like webs again. No leg printing, but with the arm printing I think it's fine. On the back then you'll see the bigger spider and a little bit more of his suit, a little bit red, a little bit of blue and a little bit of the webbed design again. All in all, a very nice figure, but quite typical for Spider-Man. I don't think they can really change it up all that much if they're using the standard suit for him. But again, it's still a really nice figure. Now, as I said, he does come with his web blaster kind of ammo. So I'll just give you a little look at how that works. So you put it into his hand like that, and then you fire it by pushing down here. And it kind of goes fairly far because of the tension on it. If I can kind of give you another look, then you can see it probably goes as far as the car, if not further, or to the opposite direction. But it's kind of hard to control where they go. But again, it is definitely a nice little addition for the play aspect of the set. Next up, we have Ghost Rider. And it's based more so on the comics. So he has the kind of metal robotic looking face, rather than the skull face that he had that was more representative of his appearance in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But it's definitely a lovely minifigure. Now the hair is actually attached straight up to the head, so there's 2 things there. You can't detach the hair and there's no back print. But do we really need it with a head this good looking? I mean, that flame is really nice looking. It really is. And then the face is just terrifying looking. They've done a really good job, I think, with this minifigure. Now you'll see his leather jacket with a little bit of like silver on it as well, and also it's a little bit pushed in on either side there to kind of make him look a small bit thinner, because you know he's the Ghost Rider. But yeah, no, it's definitely a really nice minifigure. On the back then you'll see a little bit more of the kind of just a little detail to make it look like a leather jacket, which is nice. And of course you'll see all of the lines there on his leather jacket. Through that you'll see some of his muscles, and then on the top you'll see the orange there as well for around the top, which is quite nice. Definitely a really nice minifigure and a lovely addition to the collection, but of course a must-have with the set. But yeah, definitely an amazing minifigure. Next up, we see the new installment of Carnage. Now, the only real new part about this is the tentacles they use. They used to use a different style of tentacles, but otherwise, the actual mechanism back here is pretty much the same. You have the thing that goes around the neck that has 4 clips on it. Then there's something clips onto that, and the tentacles slot into them clips. So that's pretty much the only difference between this Carnage and the last couple of Carnages that have come out. But again, it's definitely a welcome one, because I think it looks a lot cooler than the last ones they used. Also, the print on him alone is actually really nice. It's kind of more representative of the newer Carnage in the comics, so it's kind of thinner and there's a lot more going on. It's a little bit more detailed. The lines are a lot thinner in it as well, and kind of more crazy looking. He also has leg printing and foot printing, which is nice to see. No arm printing, but again with the leg and foot, and actually belt printing. It's not that big a deal. The face is nice, and we get a little bit more on the back then of the kind of black lines that go through his whole body. So that's definitely really nice, and I think this is a really nice looking minifigure as well. But yeah, that's all 3 minifigures. Definitely a nice little minifigure selection in this set, and probably most of the reason I actually ended up getting the thing. So now we're on to the car, and it's really nice, to be honest. I've heard it compared to the recent Speed Champions muscle car, but I didn't get that one, so I'm not really going to compare it to that. If you know the car yourself, you can kind of have a look as well and compare it, but I think I'm going to just ignore that for now. But anyway, getting on to the car, it's a really nice car, but the problem with all black is nothing to do with Lego. It's just the fact that dust sticks to it and is really visible on the black. And also, after you're finished building it, your fingerprints are going to be all over it. If you have clean hands or not, like, you're going to have fingerprints over it. So that's a little bit of a downside while you're building it. But it's nothing to do with the set itself or Lego itself. But yeah, getting on to it anyway, we can see 3 stud shooters on the front there, each of which work fairly well. I mean, what else can I say? They're stud shooters, they always work. It's nice to see them there as well, because if you don't want to fire them or anything, it does kind of look like, you know, those things you do see, the attachments you do see on the hoods of muscle cars. I'm not exactly sure what they're called, but they're just these big kind of vents or big engines. But yeah, just a few more functions. You can open up the top here, and you can sit Ghost Rider in there, so it looks like he's driving the car, which is of course kind of must have once you have a car. So he's in there and he's, you know, flaming head away. It looks quite well, I think. You can put whoever you want in there. You can put Spider-Man in there if you want. The wheels move quite well. There's nothing really I can say about that. There's a nice bit of kind of grip on them as well, so they actually do move rather than just like slide kind of, you know. But also then underneath you'll see like some lights and stuff there. And underneath as well on the sides, then you'll see it's very nicely kind of smoothed off here and finished very well, I think. You'll also see a little bit of colour on the underside there, which I like. Some people might not like. I actually enjoy it myself. You'll see some lights on the back there, but the boot doesn't really open without taking some of the rest of the car with it. Same for the hood, it doesn't open without taking the car with it, but you know, I don't know if you'll really mind that much. But yeah, it's definitely a really nice looking car. You see there a bit of a grille on the front there. And the main function of this now, it's kind of a difficult one to just kind of switch in and out because it takes a little longer to do. But if you take off this tile here, and the same then on the other side, and the one on the very back, you can switch it into Ghost Rider's car using these pieces in front of you. And just like that, we have Ghost Rider's car. It looks quite well. To be honest, I would add more of these in. I'd add one of these on the other side, and also then one of these on the other side, but you only get one each. I think they're pretty cool, and these pieces actually double as something that Ghost Rider can hold as a weapon, because they have a little kind of thing on the inside that Ghost Rider can hold on to. So if you wanted to do that, that is definitely a possibility. But otherwise, I myself will definitely just be using it for the car. You'll see then the exhaust are flared out there, the flames have stuck in there. But there's not an awful lot really I can say more about this set. One thing is, you will have these spare and they don't really fit anywhere else on the car, so it is just kind of a little bit annoying there to have that gone. I mean, if you wanted, you could probably put two up here maybe and one under here, or what I did was just put them all in here. But then you won't be able to fit Ghost Rider in there. You know, you'd want to kind of fit Ghost Rider in there if that's how you think you want to display it. It's quite an easy thing to build, but at the same time it is still quite fun. Originally you build it with the three of those kind of tiles on. You just build a normal muscle car, and then it shows you how to do the transfer between the normal one and the Ghost Rider's version. I would also mention that the wheels on the back are bigger, so it kind of makes it look a bit more like the proper muscle car, like, you know, like it has hydraulics or something like that. But it's definitely a nice little aspect of the set. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can really mention about the set. Let's get on to the final verdict. So yeah, for playability it's a decent set, because it does come with three figures that haven't really been pitted against each other before, and it comes with a newer version of Carnage, which makes him look a little bit more realistic, and actually then gives him quite a lot more like maneuverability. Also, the Spider-Man comes with his web shooters, so that's really nice as well. The Ghost Rider figure is just nice because, you know, the fire aspect of it is cool for kids to be able to add into their marble play. And of course, the car functions really well and looks really cool, so it's definitely a nice little set for playability. Also, I don't think it costs that much for the sake of little kids buying it. I think it is actually still quite affordable for what you get. And it's good value for money. And as I said, the characters aren't really pitted together that much, so you're kind of forced to create a new story with them, which is great for imaginative play. Display wise, on the other hand, it actually still is quite a good set. Like, again, good value for money, and you get some nice minifigures with it, but really that card does look quite well. If you wanted to display it on a shelf, definitely. Collectors wise, the Ghost Rider minifigure is definitely a nice one because it's more like the comics and it's a newer one as well. The Carnage one, as you see there in front of you, has a decent amount of posability because, like, you can pin him up on all of his tentacles like that if you want. And there's a few different ways you can kind of do it. Like, I had him up like that a while ago to pretend that he was running on his tentacles and kind of pinned up, you know, like that. But there's 101 ways you can really display all of this. And I think just it's a very nice looking set. I mean, if you wanted to display the car without the fire, it still looks really nice. And also the exclusive-ish minifigures that come with it are definitely a bonus. So for kids or adults, I would say this is still a good set for either one. More so maybe for kids, of course, because it has more of a play aspect to it. But again, for people who love the muscle cars and like Ghost Rider, it's not a bad set to get, because you're not really going to get Ghost Rider in many other sets, I don't think. You've only got him, I think, in one set, if I'm wrong. Correct me, but there's definitely only one other minifigure of Ghost Rider. Thanks a million for watching my video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below if you think there's anything that needs to be said. Thanks a million, guys. See you again. Take care.